We're going to be talking about our boy Frank James. This is released on April 13th, Wednesday. Okay. Frank James charged in Brooklyn shooting, a mass shooting on New York subway. Defendant allegedly attempted to kill commuters during morning rush hour. A criminal complaint was unsealed today in federal court in Brooklyn. Can you all see that really good? Here, let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. Moonlight Jake, can you look into Allison Mack, a co-star on Smallville and NXIVM case? Yeah, we could. All right. So here we go. He goes, charging Frank James with a criminal complaint was unsealed today in federal court in Brooklyn, charging Frank James with conducting a violent attack on a mass transportation vehicle in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1992. A7B1. The charge terrorist attacks or other violence against a mass transportation system relates to April 12, 2022, mass shooting on the New York City subway in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. James was arrested earlier today by New York City police officers in Manhattan and will make his initial appearance tomorrow before United States Magistrate Judge Rowan L. Mann. Baron Peace, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. Michael J. Driscoll, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI. John DeVito, Special Agent in charge of ATF. And Kichan L. Sewell, Commissioner of New York City Police Department, announced the arrest and charge. And then, as you guys know, what I teach you guys, anytime you're reading one of these press releases, the first agency to make a comment is the lead agency. Okay. But I mean, this is a terrorism case. So you already know it's going to be FBI off rip. Okay. Or in this case, the JTTF, Joint Terrorism Task Force. As alleged, the defendant committed a heinous and premeditated attack on ordinary New Yorkers during their morning subway commute, stated United States Attorney Peace. All New Yorkers have the right to expect that they will be safe as they travel throughout our great city and use our vital transportation systems. I am grateful to our law enforcement partners, the first responders, and the everyday New Yorkers who stepped up during this crisis and showed the best of our city. Also, we continue to pray for the victims and their loved ones as they recover from this traumatic event, both physically and emotionally. And real quick, guys, let me make a little caveat here. And actually, I got a New Yorker right next to me. I don't think you guys understand, like, New York City, the public transportation is literally like the lifeblood of the city.
Literally, it's everything.
It's everything. Like, people from New York don't, like, I can't tell you how many people I know from New York that don't have driver's licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you, the subway, that's the easiest thing you could use for real.
Okay.
To get around.
So when you attack like the infrastructure of the subway, it's a big deal, guys. Okay. Like, public transportation in New York City is taken extremely seriously. The subway systems run 24 hours. The bus systems run, is it 24 or what nowadays? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's 24 now? Mm-hmm. God damn. Okay. But the subway's always been 24/7, and then the buses run 24/7, and there's always taxis. Like, New York City is one of the few cities, guys, major cities, where you truly don't need a car. You really don't. Okay. Miami, LA, Vegas, all these other places, like, unless you live in like the downtown really cool area, you're gonna need a car every single time. Like, I'll give you all an example. I'm here in Miami, right? We're in Brickell. Brickell, you can walk everywhere, but once you leave Brickell, you won't need a car. You know what I'm saying? And because the public transportation is not good here like it is in New York City. So the reason why they're, speaking this way about the public transportation system and why it's like a big deal is because this infrastructure of New York City depends upon public transportation. Okay. So if you attack the subways, it's an attack on the city. All right. Anyone from New York City understands this, but for, my international guys, my guys that have never been to the city before, you may not know this, but yes, New York City prides itself on its public transportation. There's people that are adults that don't even have driver's licenses, bro. It's very common. I can't tell you how many girls I met from New York and people I met from New York in general don't have a driver's license. 35 years old. You know people that don't have driver's licenses?
Yeah, mad people.
Yeah, it's like a common thing. We would laugh at those people here, but it's common. Myron in the club. Hilarious. Like the video, support the channel. We need a Miss Andress on the soundboard for the ladies event eventually. Okay. If I get the likes up, maybe I'll expose her Instagram for y'all. The Radical Latino, $2. Is it true dude used to sub to you guys? I don't know, but we are going to talk about his social media presence here a little bit too. So, okay, let's continue on. Mr. Peace praised the outstanding efforts of FBI's New York Joint Terrorism Task Force, which consists of investigators and analysts from the FBI, the NYPD, and over 50 other federal, state, and local agencies. Guys, yeah, the JTTF, I broke this down already what the JTTF is, but it's basically a task force of law enforcement officers from different agencies that work together solely for the purpose of combating terrorism and promoting national security within the United States. Okay, and there's big JTTFs in every part of the United States, every major city. So like we got a JTTF here in the Miami area. There's a JTTF New York, obviously, and they're all over the place. Yesterday's everyday New Yorkers commuted through Brooklyn on our subway system. Frank James, as alleged, committed a horrific act that resulted in and around the clock effort by the FBI's JTTF in New York City, the NYPD, and the ATF to find him and bring him to justice. Thanks to the incredible work by all involved to identify James and get the proper information out to the public. He's in federal custody, and New Yorkers can breathe a little easier in our city today, said FBI Assistant Director in Charge Driscoll. Yeah, and this is the Assistant Director in Charge that made this announcement, not the Special Agent in Charge. So you know this is a big deal. Okay. And then today's arrest of Frank James. You guys are probably wondering, well, why was the ATF involved? Well, the ATF was involved, guys, because a firearm was discharged during the course of this crime. All right. Today's arrest of Frank James was in large part due to the vigilance and concerted effort by New Yorkers to aid law enforcement in the apprehension of violent criminals. We at ATF applaud the public's engagement and participation in providing vital information to apprehend James, and we hope for a speedy recovery for all victims. ATF will continue to utilize our nationwide crime gut intelligence capabilities to support our partners in the continued investigation of Tuesday's horrific attack on the NYC subway, stated ATF Special Agent in Charge DeVito. Yes, guys. So anytime a firearm is recovered in the United States, you're going to have to give it to the ATF, and they're going to be able to do something called the E-Trace. And E-Trace is able to go ahead and go back to the first original buyer of the gun. In this case, it was our boy Frank James that actually purchased this gun and left it on the scene. So not too hard to find out who he was with that one.